And now for more on this, we're joined by NewsNation political editor Chris Stirewalt for a deeper dive. Chris, just how big of an impact the Democrats have in Republican primaries, and we're talking specifically about Peter Myers losing his seat, or at least the nomination for his party to run for that seat, to John Gibbs.
Well, look, Peter Meyer lost that seat because he voted to impeach Donald Trump. That's true, right? That was what caused his political problem. And I know he wouldn't do it differently if he had it to do over again, because he believes he did the right thing. And a lot of Republicans around the country believe he did the right thing. But Democrats were able to push his opponent over the top with these expenditures. And while Congress is certainly a concern about this stuff, the real concern that Americans should have right now is that Democrats have done this in key electoral states. We look at Arizona, we look at Pennsylvania, we look at Colorado, we look at swing states, we look at places where these decisions could be crucial. And it's not just for Congress, it's for governorships, and it's for key positions like Secretary of State. The Republican nominee for governor in Pennsylvania, Doug Mastriano, has basically promised that he will be ready to steal the 2024 election. And that he is prepared to do that because he believes the 2020 election is stolen, and that he is willing to swipe Pennsylvania's electoral votes if they don't go the way that he thinks they're supposed to. And that should be chilling for everybody. And the Democrats behind this are, and I use this word very advisedly, I use it very advisedly indeed, dispatriotic. This is a dispatriotic act. Politics ain't beanbag. I've covered it and been around it for decades. Rough stuff happens. People have long played in the other party's primary. This is not a new thing by any stretch of the imagination. But when the stakes are this high and you're talking about the legitimacy of the republic and you're talking about the electoral process, this is dispatriotic.
Yeah, they're not just playing with fire because their candidates might lose in general elections. They're playing with fire because if those candidates lose, you might send somebody to a state house, as you mentioned, Doug Mastriano, who might just say, guess what? Democracy, who needs it? Anyway, let me ask you about those candidates, though, that the Democrats are supporting, believe it or not, in general elections. Will these Trump-backed candidates, many of whom are election deniers, will they win in general elections? Or are the Democrats right here that they have no shot?
Well, we'll see. Right now, if you look at the latest, our latest poll, and you see that the Democrats are actually ahead in the generic ballot, that despite President Biden's low job approval, Democrats are doing better than they were before and better than expected when it comes to control of Congress, which is a good barometer for the general political attitude of the country in this midterm year. But that will change. And if gas prices go back up, inflation hits harder, if we have a recession, for goodness sake, you'll have seats and races that people aren't even paying attention to now where Republicans would win, because that's what happens when you have a surge election and that wave rolls through and you pick up these seats. And the Democrats could have really done their countrymen and countrywomen a serious disservice by elevating people who otherwise wouldn't have won.
Well, that's right. You might have people that are fed up with the Democratic Party and they just look at the other name on the ballot and they don't know that it might be an election denier or what have you. So let me ask you this, too. The approach to primaries, it for a long time has been you have to be a little bit more extreme, and this is for both parties, to win your primary, and then you have to moderate that for the general. I don't see a lot of these Republican candidates specifically moderating their views to win the general. Is that still a strategy, or is that just out of vogue right now?
Well, I think that the bases in both parties, if you want to put it on the other side, you want to look at why Joe Biden has struggled so much in the first half of his term, it is because he's always trying to placate the radical left wing in his party. He's always trying to keep the progressives happy, and by the way, failing. So he ends up alienating moderate, persuadable voters and dissatisfying the progressive left. So that's the position that most mainstream American politicians find themselves in now. The interesting thing is with the kooks, when they get the nomination and they face those pressures, they don't have any place to move. They can't make the shift that you're talking about from the primary to the general election. Though I would add, reforms in primary elections are taking place, going into effect around the country. Open primaries where you have both parties competing in one place, ranked choice voting, other steps are being taken, and we really need steps to be taken to have a more rational system that doesn't punish success as a lawmaker or a chief executive.
All right, that is good insight for us. Chris Stirewalt, thank you for joining us this morning.
Thank you for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com to find News Nation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of News Nation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.